get into the Super Bowl.
And we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mike Sports. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, Landry. How you doing tonight?
Great.
All right.
Despite the first topic obviously being our condolences to the Kobe family.
Right.
And everybody else that was on that helicopter. I know Kobe's eaten up a lot of the limelight, but we had a U of H baseball, an ex-U of H baseball player, now coach in California, was part of the family member that died. So U of H, Houston's been doing a lot of things, talking about him around here. That's yeah, man, you know what's funny? I listened to a segment about Kobe Bryant, and when he said it, it was the first time I heard someone say something that I completely felt, because I didn't really know how to explain how I felt. Because there's some people were like, Jay, like, why would you be upset about Kobe Bryant? Like, no one wants to hear someone dying, but why is it like really hitting you?
Why?
And I couldn't really, honestly, I didn't know why at first. But one of the things the guy said that kind of put it in perspective for me is when Michael Jackson died, I was very like, okay, yeah, he died. Why is everybody crying and stuff? Like, yeah, we all know he's a great musician, but why is he, And when Kobe died, I finally understood what they were feeling when Michael died, because I had this weird, I got like depressed. It was really weird. And, his daughter, I think being a part of it, obviously has a lot of gravity to it. And I think as a man, Kobe dying just made me really kind of like focus in on like things you just don't pay enough attention to and don't put enough time into. That being obsessed with work, you should also be obsessed with the love, and that your family, like your obsession should be spread equally, and you shouldn't just be all about one thing. And I think what made me so sad about it is that I watched his obsession switch from basketball to his family now. And finally, when he's able to do that, his life is taken from him. And he walked away from the game. He had like no remorse. He was done. He was okay with it.
Well, it had been 20 years.
Think about this. Think about this, though. Just think about this one thing. He played basketball longer than he was alive before that. He went in at 17 and played for 20 years. Think about that. That is nuts, man. And I think that's why he was able to be so done. I really do. I think that had a lot to do with it. He was kind of like, I don't know a life without basketball, because I played basketball longer than I had been alive before I went into basketball.
Right, because he was 17 years old when he got drafted by, the Charlotte Hornets, who then traded him to the Lakers.
Right.
And it's funny, everybody's going to give you their own perspective. I have, of course, my own growing up in the Philadelphia area. And
I was a freshman. School, right?
Well, no, we went to a rival school that played them every year. So I got to see Kobe.
You told me you dunked on him a few times.
Well, yeah, I mean, naturally, yeah. But yeah, like he was somebody. Thankfully, the coaches that I worked with weren't like, oh yeah, you see that guy number 33? Yeah, go guard him with this number he wore in high school. Thankfully, we had a guy who was a good athlete, a guy by the name of Dante Coles, who ended up playing football at Temple University.
Right.
And he also played basketball and ran track too. And so he took on the job of trying to guard Kobe. And I mean, look, he did an admirable job. Like, Kobe scored about, 30 points or so a game against us. And that's about what his average was, 32, 34 points a game in high school. And but for me anyway, it was more, I got to have a few conversations with Kobe, and they were like, he was nice, and he let everybody feel like they mattered when he talked to you and when he interacted with you. He was someone who I think at a young age understood that a few minutes or a few seconds out of his day really didn't, like, to talk to somebody else, it wouldn't make a difference in what he did during the course of the day, but it would make that other person's day.
Well, here's the deal. I don't even like basketball, dude. I'm not like the biggest basketball guy in the world. Kobe Bryant made me like basketball. And you know what it is? The 90s had Jordan, and Kobe was the only guy who said, I don't want to be like Jordan. I want to beat Jordan. I want to be better than Jordan. He was the only guy to me that said, I will step up and try to be that new person for the next generation. Everybody else was good in their own right, or they were different. He was the only one that said, I'm not scared of Jordan Shadow. I want to beat Jordan Shadow.
Yeah, he not only wasn't afraid, he embraced the challenge of taking it on.
Dude, he was freaking smart.
Yeah.
I was telling, friends and people that I talked to about it. I said, look, at first, I have no idea why it hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what hit me hard is, obviously him and his daughter going together.
Well,
I can't imagine what he was saying to his daughter while that thing was going down.
Did you hear the report that when they found their bodies, that his body was still holding his daughter's?
No, I did not hear that, dude.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Like, I've heard so much Kobe talk during the week. I thought by the time I got to us on our show, I'd be kind of burnt out. It still hits me hard, like randomly, and it's weird because it's not something I could have told you if I heard Kobe died. That I would be like, "Oh man, I'm really depressed." I would have been like, "Oh man, that sucks." But I'm not related to Kobe. I don't know him personally, so I mean, all I can do is mourn a loss of a good person. But no, it actually hit me really hard. It was really weird, unexpected.
Yeah, that one was in shock. I right away. One of my good friends was a big Laker fan, and so obviously a big Kobe fan. And again, another guy I went to high school with who got to have interactions with Kobe. Like I text him, and he's just like, dude, I'm sitting here. He's like in a dark room. He's like, I'm in shock. And
dude, honestly, when the news ran and said Kobe Bryant, I was watching the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I literally thought it was another Kobe or they messed up.
Dude, the first thing I saw was on Facebook.
I was like, no way that's true.
And I thought for sure it was somebody like, one
maybe
of those
Kobe who played sports too, but not that Kobe. Like I thought it was going to be something like that.
Well, I thought it was like one of those like Facebook dumb thing where people post stuff that isn't true, and it's like, man, like someone posting this crap. Like I used to see it all the time for like certain wrestlers, like they'd put on there, oh, such and such, like John Cena dead at like young, and it's like, no, he's not. Shut up.
Yeah.
And I really thought that's what it was. And, and I didn't respond to any of those. I didn't look at it. Like, and I kept thinking, I'm like, if something like that happened, that'd be all over the news. Like,
yeah, man, there was just something like really surreal. I don't know how to explain. Michael Jackson died. I was kind of like, well, he looked kind of quirky. There's no telling what kind of drugs. Like, I had reasons to wonder why he probably died. When Kobe, I was like, dude, this dude was like in his prime of his second chapter of his life. There's no way. Yeah.
Like, I really thought, man, Kobe Bryant was going to be the guy that we were going to look at and say his after basketball life was
better than his basketball life.
Bigger success than his basketball.
Yeah. He was working out deals with Disney and Hollywood to make like movies about basketball. Like his whole life was going to be different.
Yeah.
And I read the story about how his daughter had made him re-love the game of basketball. And he wasn't saying it in some like weird way. He's like, dude, I walked away and she re-engaged me back in. He goes, I had stepped out basically mentally from basketball.
Right. And it's funny. Like I heard stories about him being out with seeing people and they say, oh man, are you going to have a son? You got to have a son to carry on the legacy. And his daughter would look at him and be like, nah, you don't need a son. I got you, Dad.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the stage of life we're in where, we can relate to the idea of having a family and our careers are great, but at the end of the day, a family is everything. And you think about that stuff and, I have a picture of them when he won a championship and he's kissing her when she's like 5. And he's holding her or whatever. Cool. And I look at it, I'm like, these particular two together were something special. Mm-hmm. They had that bond and it's almost like, okay, and I don't believe in fate, but was it meant to be they were supposed to go out to this world together? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. And
yeah.
I don't like. This is one of those things. It's hitting hard. It's hard to make sense of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 2020 just started and we already lost such a huge personality and soul and intellect. And everybody's always like, what are you talking? I always say intellect when I mention Kobe Bryant. Like the dude spoke multiple languages. He went back, finished school, got his math. I mean, he did everything that you can do like in a lifetime as a person. And then he continued to give afterwards. And, I got really mad at the story I read about the woman trying to run the sexual allegation story and everything. Yeah. And she would talk about how, and I said, look, no one says that you have to forget a
but why you got to bring it up now?
Bad. The point is, as long as they're doing better and doing right in comparison to what they might have done wrong, which was an allegation. And at the end of the day is their death is not the right time to focus on the things they didn't do right. That's the problem.
It's just like when Michael Jackson died. I didn't see. At least I don't recall seeing anything like people put like showing articles about the
children.
allegations that he had,
Yeah.
the children.
A lot of
Yeah,
that, like the show on HBO, that came out like 10 years later after his death.
right.
So whatever. Anyways, I mean, that's all I gotta say on the Kobe subject. But
Yeah. Again, hearts go out to all the families. I think it's kind of cool what the NBA has been doing after the tip off of each game. What they're doing is they're put like whoever wins the tip off is going back there and taking an 8-second violation in his honor because number 8, and then the other team's coming down and taking a 24-second shot clock violation
for both jerseys, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the Pro Bowl, they were doing some like fadeaways with the football into the end zone.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, there's been a lot. It goes to show that, Kobe's just a very respectable figure, and we lost one too young. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny. In the Sixers game last night, Joel Embiid changed his number from 21 to 24 for just one night. And the Sixers number 24 is retired by Bobby Jones. And so he had to call Bobby Jones and ask him, hey, would it be all right if I wore that jersey number tonight? And I said, I'm like, what's Bobby Jones going to say? No.
He could.
Yeah, but thankfully he didn't. And Joel Embiid.
And then the Mavericks retired number 24 from ever being worn as a Maverick.
Yeah. And I think it'd be kind of cool if other NBA teams did that as well. But it's I didn't realize this quite, but a lot of people, when you throw a piece of trash or something in the trash can, throw a can away or something, a lot of people oh, Kobe, like when they're shooting it.
Yeah.
And last night, Joel Embiid scored 24 points, and on his last basket, and he didn't realize this basket would give him 24 points, but on his last shot, he turned around and did a fadeaway like Kobe would do, and he yelled Kobe as he shot it, and it went in. That was his 24th point.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, all right.
Yeah, let's change gears.
Yeah, let's change gears before we turn into two men doing a woman's version of The View on TV.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Back to man stuff. Let me get my hair out of my chest. All right.
Yeah. Here, let's do it. Let's put the chest hairs out.
I'm kidding, dude. You didn't really need it. What the fuck?
Oh, right. Sorry. I misread the situation.
Well, and the good news is this is probably going to be a shorter segment other than the Kobe eating up some minutes. We only got one game to talk about and maybe some news, if you want to talk about, is Dak going to get a contract? Is Brady going to go to another team? I personally think Brady's going to be a Patriot regardless at the end of the day. Yeah, so
I think at the end of the day, the Patriots are going to affect
my news on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Super Bowl week.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to really lay down your thoughts and what do you really think is going to happen, and you have to pick one to win and one to lose.
I know, and this is tough for me because I love Andy Reid. Like I'm an Eagle fan, and that guy put the Eagles back on the map.
Right.
And I wanted to win one. Now we on my other show, on Football Smack Talk show, we had the discussion of whether or not Andy Reid is a Hall of Famer even without the Super Bowl. And I absolutely think he is. He's the fourth winningest coach.
Yeah.
And 1 through 3, in fact, 1 through 5 are all Hall of Famers.
Right.
And I personally think that whether he wins on Sunday or not, he's a Hall of Famer. And mind you, it's not like this is it. Like he's not going to retire. Like he's not going to
anywhere. We're just going to have to guess. Like he's at least going to be the Chiefs head coach for the next 5 years, probably.
Yeah, I would imagine
so he's probably going to appear in a lot more damn playoff championship games and possible. Mm-hmm. So just that alone makes me say, look, first of all, I like Andy Reid. And second of all, I think Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach. I would vote for him if I was one of the ballot voters. So
yeah, if he was walking away after this game, regardless win or lose, and if they lost, I would still say he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. At some point, the Hall of Fame isn't about winning; it's about your contribution to the NFL. And I think Andy Reid contributed a lot to the NFL.
So I would 100% agree with that. And that being said, I don't think he's getting it this year.
Yeah, I'm going 49ers. What's your reason for you going Niners?
It's the battle up front. To me, it's all about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And the 49ers, I think. Now, I don't think they'll control it as easily as they did against the Packers, but that was just that was beauty. Like that, there was an art to it. And if you're not a pure football fan, you don't appreciate the art that went into that situation. And I was sitting there, and look, I was rooting for the Packers that day. I wanted the Packers to be. Because I wanted the Super Bowl I rematch.
Right.
But in the midst of it, I just sat there and said, "This is awesome." I am watching a team do fun. Like if I had to take, a young fan or a young player who wants to play the game or wants to coach a game or anything, I would say this is how you approach the game. Win the battle at the line of scrimmage. You can have all your cute little passing plays, the finesse, the timing patterns, the West Coast offense, and all that stuff. Give me a team that will straight up punch you in the mouth and win that battle at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Niners because the Niners are just – it's the physicality aspect. I just find them to be more of a stronger team. And then I also their defense. I just think their defense is going to win the game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be able to put up enough points to keep up with Kansas City, but I think Kansas City's going to find themselves in a bit of pickle when all of a sudden they're not looking as offensive juggernaut against a defense. I don't think they're going to stop the Chiefs from scoring, but I think they're going to put a dent in their ability to score at will, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I do think that there's going to be a point in the game where it kind of becomes like it's a little bit of a shootout.
Yeah.
And I think Kansas City will score quickly at a moment. I think there's going to be a moment where San Francisco's controlling, and then all of a sudden Kansas City busts out and they make a big score. And people are going to say, oh, okay, this is where the Chiefs take over. But the Niners offense is good enough to come out there and then say on the following possession, no, we're going to still play our game. We're going to smash it right down your throat, and good luck trying to stop our running game.
Well, I don't really have a lot to say to that because that's pretty much what I think is going to happen. So, it's just one of those. It's probably going to. It's weird. Like, right? There's this Mahomes magic. Mm-hmm. Mahomes is a Texas guy. I should be rooting for, Kansas City just to come in and wallop them. And because I like Reed,
yeah, there's a lot of reasons why both of us choose the Chiefs.
There's this respect factor for the Niners, and I'm telling you, they have like a '90s Cowboys style to them or something. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at them. And remember, I picked them week 10 to win it all.
Yeah.
So I'm not like new to this boat, like, oh, I'm jumping on some bandwagon. I saw something in the Niners earlier in the year where I'm like, man, the only team I thought that could beat them were the Ravens. And the Ravens only beat them by 3. And I thought after watching that, man, if they were to play the Ravens again, I think they could beat them. So to me, in other words, the Niners were only getting better every game. They weren't getting worse, really.
Yeah, and that's funny because
Shanahan,
after a good team all year, I feel like they're playing their best football right now.
Yeah, and Shanahan, after what he did to the Patriots when he was the offensive coordinator of Atlanta.
Oh, and now you get him a second
away from the competition. Yeah. And he's just super fucking sharp. It's weird. Like, I've been listening to Super Bowl talk, obviously, all week, like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And Kobe ate up Monday, but after that, we all got back to kind of talking about Super Bowl. I can't for the life of me, I can't see how Kansas City wins. I just can't see the tunnel to it against the 49ers.
Yeah.
I get a competitive football game. I just don't
think it's going to be competitive.
See them closing the deal against the 49ers. And I think it's because the 49ers have a little bit of that LSU to them this year. Clemson's good. Clemson's good. They're like Kansas City. Kansas City's been good for a couple of years. They're not like a newcomer or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But LSU had the magic that night. It was the magic that carried them through the season in the Alabama, when they're Alabama Stadium. And I feel like the Niners kind of have that same kind of thing going. To me, Kansas City.
Sure. And they went up against the established juggernaut of like the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And so I see the similarities. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Jimmy Pornstar Garoppolo. So, Pornstar Jimmy, I think he's a very consistent and solid quarterback from a Belichick system. I think he
fulfills the Belichick prophecy, that he believed that it would go Tom Brady to Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Well, in the Super Bowl, there you go, Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I still look at that. I think that was a mistake by the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And I said that when they traded him, not when Jimmy Garoppolo started winning. I thought Garoppolo looked like a guy who could just play football. And I thought, man, you need some kind of succession plan. So even if, you're not going to start him over Brady, don't let him go. And, of course, we all know
how smart would it be right now they're letting Tom Brady go, and they say, okay, we've got Jimmy Garoppolo here ready to go.
What he can do, yeah, and they would have found out the dude can play football, yeah.
Yep.
Jimmy G should be counting his luck, though. He landed with Shanahan, who's probably a better fit offensively for him being a better quarterback overall than Belichick.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this could be an opportunity where Jimmy
not
Garoppolo
better for Belichick, but certainly better for Jimmy, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo could come into this with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. We've heard for a couple of weeks now that, oh, man, the Kansas City offense, Patrick Mahomes, that team is they're an offensive juggernaut. And San Francisco, they've got a nice defense, and then and what's really Jimmy G done? He went like over an hour of real time without throwing a single pass against the Packers. You know why? Because he didn't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to come in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder saying, yeah, okay, you want to keep doubting me? I'm going to go out here and win a Super Bowl. Doubt that.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, for some reason I thought you'd be picking Kansas City. So I was ready to throw my alcohol in your face tonight. Like, instead you agreed with me. Now I'm like, shit. I don't know. It's like, fuck, I should just pick the Kansas City just to be different.
Right?
Yeah. I can't, since week 10, I said the Niners are taking this whole thing. I even said, dude, my Cowboys, even if they got in, I was like, the Niners are going to crush them. I was like, forget it. So what other, is there any drama around the Super Bowl? I don't think so. Super Bowl's been pretty quiet, actually, I think.
Yeah, it's been quiet. I mean,
I think the Kobe thing kind of took a lot of the, like, what's going on in Miami right now with all the players walking around. I think everybody kind of settled down. The players were all kind of in mourning and thinking about what happened. I think honestly, I think they probably settled down the psyche a little bit at the Super Bowl. Of course, come game time, they'll all be amped up. But, I'm curious to see, and I haven't heard anything, if the Super Bowl does anything to honor Kobe at the beginning.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd kind of be surprised if they didn't do something.
Yeah. And the halftime show, obviously, I'm wondering if Jay will say anything out there or whatnot. Yeah. So if I'm having to predict a score here, obviously we don't want to. Everybody knows our pick, so I'm gonna go 22. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna go 28 Kansas City. And this one's hard. 35 or 38 49ers. I think there's going to be about a 10-point spread overall.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do think the 49ers start to dominate in the fourth. This isn't going to be some – I do not think it's going to be like some last minute down to the last 2 minutes of the game thing. I think the Niners are going to show some dominance towards about halfway through the fourth quarter and just kind of take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like a 27-17, so about 10.
So you got 10 points spread, but lower in tier.
Yeah, just what I think. I think there's going to be, like I said, I think there's going to be a point in the game where Kansas City's going to be a little frustrated. San Francisco will occupied a lot of the time, time of possession, and I think Kansas City comes out, puts out a big play, and gets a big score, and all of a sudden people are going to think, okay, here comes the Kansas City machine.
Yeah,
and San Francisco is just going to come out there and continue to pound the football. And Kansas City's defense is not going to be able to get off the field.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's where I said a lot of their stagnation and that offensive scoring is going to get slowed. They're not going to be not being on the field so much. They're going to find themselves punting, and the 49ers eating up clock a lot, them not getting the ball back right away. And I think that's going to put them in a position where they're not throwing up the numbers they usually do, the 35s and the 41 points. I think that's where they get stagnated at. And I don't think it's because they can't. I think they just don't get on the field enough in order to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the Kansas City's had a little bit of the drops in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And
they're going through like a warm-up period. I don't know if you know in every game. They just don't look so good in the first quarter, and all of a sudden they turn it on. I'm like, hey, if you play a team that comes out swinging right away, that's not going to work. So
exactly. And that's what I think is going to end up being their downfall. San Francisco comes out 10-0, and then it's like then they play even the rest of the way, but even the rest of the way is not enough.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. I mean, to me, this is a little more of a cut and dry conversation on this one because I've been picking Niners for so long. It's hard for me to have a lot more to say. I've been gloating on them all year.
Yeah, you've been pretty hard on.
Yeah, I went back. I watched my Week 10 video when I said, you know what? After watching that Niners game, I have to go back and see who they played in Week 10. But I remember just basically going, I gotta admit, And in the AFC, I thought it was going to be the Ravens or Chiefs that were going to play him. So I thought it was going to be the Ravens, not the Chiefs. That part I was wrong on, but I was right on the NFC team. And they're just playing, the team I didn't think in the AFC. But the Ravens, to me, just got exposed. Lamar just got owned up. But I still am excited to watch it, even though I think the Niners are going to take it. Prove me wrong. Make it come down to the last field goal. I'll take that over my prediction. So.
Oh, sure, yeah. I would much rather be wrong.
You know me, man. I don't ever want to see dominance. I want an actual football game down to the wire. Any game I get, even when it's the Cowboys. If they were in the Super Bowl, I'm like, I don't want to see them dominate somebody. I want to see a damn football game that I want to go, my God, I need that Blu-ray. I can't wait to go back and watch that again. That's what I want.
See, I mean, to me, it wouldn't matter if it's Eagles in there. I want them to dominate, and even while they're dominating, I would have still been a nervous wreck, thinking it's all going to go down, going to go wrong.
It's funny. Point. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. Before we close out, me and my friends were talking about the other day. What's your favorite, 3 Super Bowl moments? Not what's the best in history. What's your personal, that you watched, and what's your favorite actual Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, obviously, my favorite Super Bowl is.
Okay, no. Okay, let's take the Eagles out of it. What's your favorite Super Bowl?
Okay,
let's make it fair, so you have something to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think, even if I wasn't an Eagles fan, Super Bowl 52 would have been right up there, and my favorite moment would have been the Philly special play.
Yeah, that's in one of my favorite plays, so that's one of mine. Okay.
Okay. Okay, but I'll go, for the sake of non-Eagles. I'll tell you, I really enjoyed the Patriots-Panthers Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was good.
Because it was like, if you're a football fan of any kind, you got what you wanted. You want a good defensive battle? First half was a great defensive battle. You want a shootout? The second half was a shootout, and it came down to the end.
Some of those sideline catches, you were like, "What?"
Yeah. So I would say that one's probably the best one.
My favorite one is Seahawks Patriots.
That's where
I learned what kind of football player Edelman was. When he caught that ball over the middle, got laid out by Chancellor, but didn't go down, and somehow got himself to the end zone and score, but was pretty much concussed going into the end zone. I was like, man, Edelman is a tough little cookie, little Irishman. That dude took a licking from Chancellor in a Super Bowl when the moment was on the line, and the dude still somehow got in there.
Don't let him fool you. He's an Irishman, so he was probably drunk at that moment. So he didn't.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you could tell his beard was sticking to the side. It was no longer even going down anymore. But the Philly special is one of my favorite moments in the Super Bowl they ever watched. It's funny. Vince was telling me, he's like, dude, you're very you can appreciate another team even when they're like a rival. I said, I can. I appreciate football. Period. Give me a good football moment. I don't give a shit if it's my team or another team I don't like. I will still appreciate that moment in history, period.
Well, hey, look, I told you and this isn't a Super Bowl moment, but one of my favorite football moments was watching the Cowboys-Giants NFC East game when Emmitt Smith had the shoulder falling off and just kept handing the ball, and he just kept pounding forward to get the Cowboys in position. And I would have matched your friend's $11.
We send them money. So that the Philly special is one of mine. I said name 3 moments. I really like the Deion Sanders. This is a Cowboys moment. Deion Sanders getting a 50-yard pass down the middle of the Super Bowl against the Steelers. Deion Sanders is my all-time favorite football player ever in history. So I like him A, being on the Cowboys, and B, we put him on offense, and the dude could freaking play football. It was badass. Let's see, what would be my next moment? I'm running through Super Bowls in my head right now. I'm going to pick a non-Cowboys one.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I'll tell you one of my favorites, and I'll bet you would have never guessed this about me, like in this moment. When I was 5 years old, it's really when I fell in love with football, and when I was just like, I'm going to watch this forever. And the Chicago Bears, that defense was just scary as all get out.
Yeah,
and
I went back and watched their Super Bowl, so I wasn't 5, but I remember I went back and watched. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and Mike Singletary, his eyes, they gave me nightmares, and so that Super Bowl 20 against the Patriots, when Refrigerator Perry scored a touchdown, I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, mine's the Philly special. Now I remember it. The Philly special. The Deion Sanders pass and the 1 yard short Titans game. That moment, man, I freaking my gut dropped. I was like, "Oh my god, that sucks!" But it was like a surreal moment, and I loved Eddie George. Who was one of my favorite running backs. I watched him at Ohio State. I was a big Eddie George fan, so not bad, man. We hit 30 minutes on the dot.
Yeah. I guess this is a good time as any to get out of here.
Go for it.
So, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us. If you'd like, I think it would be a cool thing if people just left a comment, about Kobe if you want, about the Super Bowl. Maybe drop your predictions, or share a memory about Kobe, how he touched you and changed. Obviously, it may not be a personal where he reached out.
Well, not how he touched you. Look, I mean, we don't want to get into Kobe's lawsuits.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about the lady in Colorado, but I mean,
oh man, all right. Too soon.
Yeah, it probably is too soon for that. But I just, if you want to share something about how special watching his career is, hey, look, just how special sports are, because at the end of the day, guys, this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertainment. Sports are a way to distract you from how hard.
I had a Kobe bobblehead. I was about to get him out. All right.
And how sucky life can be. And so, sports are a great distraction from that. And Kobe was one of those guys who helped distract us from some of the crap we went through.
Sports are a reminder that we can mourn somebody, celebrate them, and still move forward.
Exactly. Just that, the NBA went forward. They kept playing their games. The Lakers Clippers game, which was scheduled for Tuesday night, got postponed. But every other game,
I didn't like that move. And a lot of people asked
me. I kind of don't like it either.
People asked me why, and I said because Kobe wouldn't want it. That's why.
Yeah.
He would say play on.
Why? Go
play on. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah. So, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us all season. And be sure to check out all the shows in the Phillyverse. Monday nights, we've got the Football Smack Talk show. Tuesday nights, we've got Ryan and Ryan of the Broadcast. Wednesday nights, right here, Mike Sports. And then Thursday nights is the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs podcast, talking all things wrestling. We're going to be getting into the road to WrestleMania. So, everybody, please enjoy all those shows. Click the like, share, comment. Thank you for joining us, and happy football.
See you on the other side. Happy Super Bowl.